which they have started from a humble beginning. So before we start off in our topic of romance tonight, we're just going to get Yvonne Campbell just to tell her a little bit about herself, and also Sister Jody also to tell a little bit about herself.
Greetings, everyone. Good to be with you, Elder Bonitto. Good evening, Jodian, and all our guests. My pleasure to be here. I am from humble beginnings, rural Jamaica. I grew up in Spanish Town, however, and went to one of the most prestigious high schools in Jamaica, San Diego High School.
Right.
From there, I went on to college, Michael Teachers College, where I did a diploma in teacher education. Then I started my marriage life. I got married at 22 and have been married since 1976. The math may get me, so I'm just going to tell you the year I got married, 1976. You do the math. All right. So I've been married to Carol Campbell for all these years. I met him at college. So it was a college romance. So we're talking about romance tonight. But that wasn't the first time I felt romantic about somebody. Okay. But that was the romance of all the romances, and it ended in marriage. So all romances will not end in marriage. So a lot of us have had high school romance and so on, but this one ended in marriage. And I've been very happy most of the times. I've been very happy in the relationship. It has produced 3 children, one of whom is with me tonight on this program. The other 2, Jason and Jeremy. They are involved in the program I now host called Marriage Matters. They are both all 3 of them are executive members of the organization, Missionaries Outreach Ministries. So our ministry has a number of ministries. And Marriage Matters, I would say, is the flagship now of the outreach programs that we do. Educationally, I have moved on to do a bachelor's in educational administration, too many certificates and postgrad courses to number, and my master's is in sociology, and many of the diploma courses include counseling and psychology, other forms of administration. So I come to you now, not as it's not about my credentials really. It's about how I feel about people and my desire to help others. Where I see pitfalls in my own relationships, I can relate them to others to prevent. Some persons want to make their own mistakes, but it's too costly to make your own mistakes. So wherever I see an opportunity to help, especially within the counseling field that I really love dearly, I'm going to get involved and I'm going to help to the glory of God, because we are all each other's keeper. So I'm happy to be here to share in this romantic night.
Beautiful. Did you forget to tell us you have your PhD in pastoral counseling? She said from a humble beginning.
On the way. I'm still working on it. Thank you.
It's beautiful, beautiful. All right, Jody and Kush.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, my name is Jody Ann, and I am married for the last 14 years. I am a pharmacist by profession, and have worked as a pharmacist for over 20 years. In more recent years, I've had a very keen interest in marriage and Christian counseling. So I started a master's degree in pastoral and Christian counseling, which I'm yet to complete. And then, of course, I've been heavily involved in Marriage Matters, where we talk about everything concerning marriage. So it's been a journey. My romance started very interestingly, actually online through eHarmony. And I'm in a multicultural or intercultural marriage, as a matter of fact, as my husband and I are not the same nationality.
Okay.
per se. So yes, my romance was mostly online. That's how it basically started. And I have two beautiful children, Ari and Zion. And there have been ups and downs in my marriage, and I think that's how every marriage is. But
That's right.
but I'm thankful and I'm grateful for the years and for my lovely children. And I'm always looking forward to ways to make my marriage and my life better. So
Mm.
yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, what they didn't tell you, she is the daughter of Yvonne Campbell. So we have a
Oh, sorry,
mother
I
and
forgot the most
daughter.
important part.
No.
But I know she said
Mhm.
it.
We have a mother and daughter relationship here tonight. Beautiful, and these folks that are on here tonight too, they carry a love like myself, is wanting to help people, wanting to impact lives one way or the other, right? And I believe we're all here for a purpose. And it's just many struggle to find their purpose, but my Lord, when you find your purpose, like it doesn't seem like work. You just enjoy what you're doing. So we're here
Mhm.
tonight because we enjoy what we're doing on this program, Transforming a Relationship on HGG program. So we thank Pastor Clive Atkinson and Lady Melody also for the vision that they have, that we can actually have impact, that we can actually impact lives far and beyond. So our topic tonight is about romance. So you notice when they both mentioned romance at the time they met their significant other, there was a smile that came. There's a smile that came over their face, and I would imagine there was some memories that went back the time they were being romance, right?
Mhm.
And I believe there's still some romance and that's still going on in their life in just different ways. Along with myself, a lot of you folks know who I am. I'm Bonitto Grange, your host. I'm a relationship and life coach. I've been doing couples sessions for probably about 15 years. I did training and life coaching, and I did relationship coaching. So it has helped me to have a bigger impact on what I would even imagine. Also, one of the assistant pastors in my home church where we teach Bible studies, premarital couples coaching, and so forth. So that's a little bit about me. Married for 36 years. Just celebrated my 36 years November the 29th. Going on 37 years, and she still loves me. Yay. And there is still romance that's still within the relationship. We don't want that to die. So you're going to hear a little bit from these ladies tonight. So when we talk about romance, it's at any stage in a relationship, but it generally starts off with that individual that you've been captivated by. And what romance actually does, it helps solidify our bond, remind us of our relative uniqueness to our partner. I believe every individual, they're unique, and because of that, every marriage also is unique. So when you try to be like another couple and try to act like another couple, you're basically downplaying your uniqueness. I believe God has given each and every one a unique individual, your unique DNA. You're different than everyone else. So you know what? Your marriage also is different, and the way that you display romance to your wife, to your significant other, might be different than some other individuals also. So romance in your lover should convey respect. It also should convey appreciation. If you are romancing and you're very romantic, it should convey appreciation, and there should be that strong feeling like this is not something that you're told to do. You know, when you first initially met that individual, Sister Campbell, Missionary, your husband, nobody had to tell him what he had to do to woo you. It's already in his DNA. And Jody, when your husband first met you, there was things that he did to really just invite you into his world. And as time goes on, we don't want that to die. So romance is basically a strong feelings of enthusiasm, joy. It's a powerful connector. And when that dies, there's something that's missing in the relationship. I just want to talk a little bit first, and then we're going to hear from these ladies. I was thinking about romance. So where does this all started? And I started to think about Adam and Eve going right back to the beginning. You know, God provided them a place to live, so to speak. And then after that, he put man within the garden. And after that, he gave him an occupation, which was to take care of what he had given to him. But man was looking around and seeing the animals. I believe they all had a partner, but there was something that was yearning within him. And God already knew what was already missing from him. And, therefore came forth Eve. Now, when you think about Adam and Eve in the garden, I believe there was a closeness, there was a uniqueness that was going on there in the Garden of Eden. But what happened, what really destroyed that romance, so to speak, for lack of better words here, is when sin came in the picture. There's something now was missing. Something was missing. That glory, that Shekinah glory, I believe that would cover them and would just consume them, because the Bible said they were naked and they were not ashamed. But after sin came in the picture, they were put on the outside, and things just began to go downhill from there. But at the same time, one thing about God's grace is God's grace will never leave you, even when a person has sinned. His love will always chase you, because God is a romantic God. So tell us a little bit, Missionary Campbell, about romance. What's your take on that when it comes to romance? Remember, there's no finish line when it comes to being romantic. It's not something that you start. You're muted. Mr. Campbell, Yvonne Campbell, you're muted.
Okay. Thank you for that question, Elder Bonitto. I struggle to come up with a definition for romance.
Okay.
Because sometimes we tend to believe that romance is a set of things that you do to impress someone or to show affection and love. And maybe it is that too, but that's not the end all and the be all of romance. Right. It is embedded in the way you make me feel by what you do for me, to me, what you say to me, how you make. So it's embedded in the emotional fabric of one's makeup, because it's not everybody who comes to you and say, I love you, you are the, you are the, see, I don't even know romantic language. You make my heart beat, you are my this, you are my that. You can just brush aside some persons who come with that. So for romance to thrive, there has to be some kind of mutual likeness or mutual love for each other. There has to be some attraction. So that romance then for me is how the person that I'm attracted to makes me feel in terms of what he does, how he makes me feel worthy, how he makes me feel valued. So it is my interpretation of somebody's affection to me that I would call romance or romantic love, romantic affection. So it's the expression, it is in the expression that I considered. Of course, there are some standard things that the world says. So your husband bring you flowers and you say, oh, that is so romantic, that is so nice. And so there are some things that are culturally done to depict or to demonstrate romance, and that is good. But again, there has to be this kind of connection of hearts for it to be called romance.
I like that. There has to be a connection of hearts. That's beautiful. How about you, Jody Cush? When it comes to romance, like what comes to your mind from your perspective to how do you see romance?
I think of chemistry.
Yes.
And of excitement, passion. I think of playfulness and fun, teasing, little teases, and
Okay.
just basically flirting also with each other. I think flirting can be very exciting and romantic. So I like the whole idea of flirting, or even sometimes pretending as though you're just meeting the person for the first time, even though you already know them, just because that little mystery involved makes things a little bit more exciting. So when I think of romance, I think of fun, I think of creativity, I think of creativity as well.
I was thinking many of us men are lacking in that creativity. It seems like the women are more creative. I'm not men. Don't thrash me out there, but it seems like the women are creative when it comes up. But a man that wants to really woo his spouse and his lover, sometimes it's just thinking outside the box to have that creativity, where just to do something different. So give me something as a woman. Tell me something that you would find romantic and a bit of romance involved in there, as small as it might be, because many times out there we think it's always got to be something so big. So what's something that comes to your mind that just make you feel, I feel treasured. I feel like I'm a priority. I feel like I'm number one, because that's what I'm hearing, dealing with a lot of couples and a lot of women. They don't feel like number one, and if they don't feel like number one, it's that romance. It's missing. There's something there. I cook your dinner and you say thank you and everything else, and I iron your clothes, I wash your clothes, but still there's something that's missing, because the way that you treated me when you first met me, it's a little bit different now after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So from a woman's perspective, what are some small things that would even make you feel romantic, as small as it might be?
I think for me, because I'm big on physical touch, I think the way I'm held would be a big thing for me. Not just a hug, but just the way in which you hold me. I want you to hold me in such a way that you don't hold anybody else that way. It should be hot. A text message to say, I'm at work, but I can't get my mind off you, or it's just something sweet to say that I'm thinking you are missing you. Yeah.
Okay, men. Okay, you're telling the men to listen up. Yeah, keep the ball rolling. Some men need to be they need to revisit this, right? So, and I like what you said.
I think ladies always want to know that we're not stale. We want to know that we're not stale for our husbands, that we're not just any old thing. We don't want to become an old time something, but we want to know that we're still fresh, still fresh in your mind. You still think of us. You don't feel that, you've already had us, or you've already got what you want, and therefore it's all over. We like to continue to be courted and to be chased after.
Absolutely.
Good.
As we are the hunter. So would you rather have a bouquet of rose, or would you rather be held? Which one would
I'd rather be held. I'd rather be held. That's me.
Okay, man. That's less expensive, man, than buying a dozen roses for $100.
It's free.
$50.
It's free.
And some of us need to hear that, and when you feel when the individual is hugging you, what kind of thoughts is going through your mind as a woman?
I think it depends on how I'm held. One type of hug could mean, hey, I miss you, I'm happy to be home. Another type of hug would mean, honey, I can't wait until later. and another kind of hug could be, I just feel like playing right now, so I think it depends on the hug. And sometimes you can be held in such a way where it's like you feel cherished, you feel like something precious, you know, the way you're held. So the different hugs speaks different things, I think.
And it's interesting about the different hugs that you mentioned. And you know what? If your husband don't know what you just told me, then you just let him know this is the
Tell him to
way.
listen to the recording.
But then his question should be, so honey, how is it that you like to be held? Which is the one that speaks volume to you? Give me the three different stages of my hug. I'm just saying, some men might that they want to hug you, but there's a way that you want to be hugged. So if you don't tell us some things, we just continue on like everything is just normal. We're saying that this is what you like because you haven't told us. So a lot of times that we need to hear, hey, how to correct a behavior or how to do something a bit different. So Miss Nera Campbell,
Sir.
when it comes to what small little things, the same kind of question we ask Sister Jody, that would speaks volume to you where romance is concerned to make you feel romantic.
Actually, thank you. Actually, when Jody was speaking, I was actually writing down mine too. And I am big on touch. I am big on tender touch.
Okay.
Not every touch is a romantic touch. In terms of, okay, sometimes when men think romance, they're thinking romance as a prelude to what happens in the bedroom. Right. There is that kind of touch, and there's a kind of touch that makes you feel valued and treasured. You mean something to me. I'm just touching you because I see something that I sometimes just see some beautiful flowers and stuff. You just want to touch it. So I like that kind of just reach out and touch me for the connection. I like flirting. Jody mentions flirting. I like in the romantic arena for you to dumb down my weaknesses. It's not romantic to criticize. So I would rather, if I have a weakness, I find it romantic if you can dumb down my weakness. So I toast your bread and it is over toasted. You just tell me, okay, I like burnt toast. So it's a matter of not highlighting the sharp edges. At an appropriate time, you should. But in terms then of the little things that you can do, I am still into flowers. And I think my husband probably got me by sending me flowers. I don't know how he knew I love flowers. So at college, I was the only girl I knew who was receiving flowers. I was in Canada, was it August for my anniversary? I was in Canada August, September, and October, and part of November. And my husband sent me flowers because our anniversary and my birthday were, in those months. And to me, I found that just so romantic. I just felt so warm towards him. I couldn't wait for him to join me in Canada because it just brought back memories. I actually walked out of a relationship with a church brother because he would not touch me. Somehow, Bonitto, women like when you touch them. We prefer to say, no, man, you can't do that. We prefer to say, you can't hold me here, so. Than for you not to do it at all.
Okay.
I don't know if it's about control, but we want to say, no, you like it, but it's not convenient or it's not right. But don't just not do it at all.
I like it, but don't stop it.
So it's in the touch, it's in how we feel, how you make me feel about myself and how you make me feel.
Absolutely. You said don't dumb me down. I like burnt toast, but he could say, but I like it a little bit lighter. So when you mentioned that, my mind goes back to one of my children. Sometimes they might, growing up, they might spill some things maybe more consistently because one was left-handed, so everything is just switched up. and sometimes when she would spill things, I realized, okay, rather than making thinking of it, I said, that's okay because I've spilled some things before too. So it's okay. We just clean it up rather than trying to say, parents, this is good for some parents that maybe have children do certain things that maybe a bit different, whether they're spilling things or so rather than really coming down on them, you got to realize and step into their shoes that I have spilled some things also. I have made some mistakes also. So it's okay. And then all I did was just clean it up and nobody felt embarrassed rather than saying, you know what, now why did you have to go do that again out in public, whatever the case is. So based on what you're saying earlier, my thoughts come to is supporting one another in our weaknesses. And that to me is a romantic. That to me speaks
For me,
volume
it is.
to me. Because when I'm weak, I want you to help make me strong. When you're weak, I want to help you make me strong. So as I was looking over the information and listening to you folks also, the romance that we feel, it came across, I asked my wife, which bird is an animal that, and there's more than one, but this one came to my mind. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called the bird of paradise.
Mm-hmm.
The bird of paradise, for the male to attract a mate, they flip the feathers on their back. That's called their cape. They do a dance in a semicircle. In the forest, they'd even clear the area where they're going to dance, trying to attract their female partner. They have a smooth dance moves. Why? To woo the female. The bird here, it flips up its cape, puffs out his chips, and actually, when you see it, the bird actually shimmies back and forth with his feet, which is so unique. So what is he doing? He's creating that atmosphere to draw the female partner. He want to be romantic, and I believe a lot of times as men, when we start, we will do everything that we can. We will do our dance. We will do everything else. But my question is what makes it stop after a while? Ladies, maybe you can, what changed within the picture where now that wife or even that fiance, maybe they've been courting for 2-3 years, but after a while, the romance, she's not feeling, yeah, he loves her and she loves him, but that romance for somehow after years, it just don't seem to be there like it used to. So what's your take on that from a woman's perspective? And I know both of you are involved with Marriage Matters, so you hear a lot of conversation with these couples. And what are some things that you might be hearing that can help our audience out here today? You can go ahead, Yvonne, or Jody, either one.
You want to go first, Jody? Okay, some of the things that takes the edge of romance. One, naked and ashamed. I know. Right. So my flaws are out there.
Okay.
And you don't cover me. When the woman does not feel that she has the coverage of her husband,
nice.
It's very difficult for her to be romantic to him, because one of the main things that women want from their husbands is that kind of security. I am safe in this space with you. Right. I am safe in your love. But if you're going to criticize and blame, then that is going to take the edge off the romance. And believe it or not, another biggie that has been reducing, I don't want to say kill, romance in marriage is children. How do you use is and children? But the fact that children are they come as a result of romance and sex, of course. Yes. But once they are in the picture, it reduces the amount of time, because romance takes time.
Right.
Okay. All right. So romance takes time. It takes time to build up, even in pre sex. It takes some time. You have to be relaxed. You have to be inhibited. But when the children are running around the house, you can't be totally inhibited. When they're outside playing, it's not time to have sex. You can't. So the whole business of building up affection and romance leading into, I'm going to use climax to mean the end, high point,
right,
is that there is that kind of interference. We quarrel about children. We spend so much time as couples talking about children and getting into each other's face about how we grow our children. And I almost feel guilty to say this, that children do get in the way of romance. I'm not saying you can't still send the flowers, but you may even have less money to send flowers because you're concentrating on the children. During my marriage, my kids used to spend with my brother and his wife. And they would comment on how loving they were, how playful they were. They were their model couple. But guess what, Brother Bonitto? All they had was each other.
Wow.
So we have to get back to the place where a man has his wife as his pride. She is his pride. She has her husband. And then set aside quality time to bring back that romance. Because in the general mill of things, you can't give your spouse 50% anymore. And the more children you have, is the less you're giving. So romance takes time. And one of the things that destroy romance, believe it or not, is parenting, your parenting role. Solomon speaks to his son, he said, enjoy the breast of your wife. But when that breast becomes a milk holder for a baby, I don't see how you're going to share that breast as as a husband. So even the woman's physical body changes. So there could be less attractiveness. So whereas they used to, remember that women are moved and wooed by words, you know. Why when you talked about Adam and Eve, what do you think the Satan took? Is communication, is words.
Right.
All right. So
powerful.
When you have no words for me, you're not telling me how beautiful I am, because probably I am now insecure in how I look as a mother. Differently from how I looked during courtship, during the first 2 or 3 years without a child. And a woman has to get that reassurance that, honey, you're still going. So if that can kill romance, if you're not telling me that I still have it going.
Absolutely.
Let me put a pause on that.
You know, you mentioned children. Absolutely right. One thing I find too with couples, with the interaction I've had, is you can make the children become such a priority that you forget about one another. Because I've had, you know, in the past where the children were, okay, the parents was experiencing empty nesters now. And now it was just 2 of them, but they had lost the connection because they were so busy with the children. And I'm not saying you disregard your children, but you know, you're taking the children to the games, you're doing your homework with the children, you're spending time, you know, and just everything else. But if you're not careful, you know, for those couples that out there, you can forget about the connection. You can forget about the romance between both of you. That romance might just be after everybody's gone to bed. You know, you're both dead tired. There's probably no physical intimacy because nobody can get things going. But even just to lie in one another's arm, even for the 20 minutes, the 50 minutes, or half an hour, it's just you and your spouse now. And if we don't keep that alive as the years goes by, you'll find out when everybody is gone and it's just 2 of you, you don't even know what to say anymore because you've lost the connection. You've lost that relationship. You've lost that romance, all because we use them. So I hear what you're saying, but those that are outside, we can't use them for an excuse to say, I can't be romantic. As small as it might be, we can still somehow find something to make our wives feel special, to make your husband still feel special. Maybe he might have a pot and you might still have your figure eight. But you know what? Because some men stress more about when it comes to the children, sometimes more than the wife. But at the same time, we married one another not just for our physical look, but also the
Right.
depth of the character that was part of the DNA of that individual. So, Jody, and so coming with you now, what are some things, if there's something that's similar that your mother had said, or do you find there's something else
That
out
will
there
kill
that's
romance. Ooh,
caused the
I
romance?
think tiredness, being overly tired, is something
Mm-hmm.
that can kill romance, because when you're overly tired, then you tend to become more irritable, more impatient or less patient. And sometimes you can be not as careful with your words. You can be more snappy, like snap at each other. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing that can kill the romance. So distraction with just the bills, the children, the everyday, the work, just the everyday mundane things that you have to do to keep the family going and to pay the bills. So
Right.
those things can, because when you're courting, you're not really in the most likely still in your parents' home. You don't have the responsibility of a mortgage at that point in time. Children depending on you. Your finances aren't as tied up, so you have more time, more opportunity, and more money to spend to wine and dine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Etc. So it's just a different phase in your life. But I think we still have to find a way to
Yeah.
be romantic, despite we can't use those as excuses. We could still, if it's even just to get away for 10 minutes from the maddening crowd or from the children, or once they're in bed. This is just
Right.
our time. I like what you said earlier about just the pillow talk, because pillow talk can be romantic as well, just a connection.
If it's that,
Yeah.
exactly.
Instead of, so there's always time for romance. You might not
Mm-hmm.
have as much time as you want, but where there's a will, there's a way.
No, beautiful. Yeah. So these are little things that you've mentioned that can be incorporated. Some things that can take away that feeling. And I'll challenge some men out there, or some women, but most of the men, because it's the men that usually wanted to create that atmosphere. I guess I didn't tell you a little bit about myself where romance is concerned, right? My
Mhm.
wife would just buy me whatever. I will go into the store and see some things I might like, or whatever the case is. But she shops for me, so she already know what I like. I'm not some men are so good they can go in and buy this perfect dress for their wife and surprise them with me. Now it's just different. I'll go with her, she'll try them on, and it's a done deal after that. But where I'm concerned, there's time when she'll just sit down beside me. She'll just rub my hair, just make me feel good.
Mhm.
And she'll,
Mhm.
she'll always bring me something nice, whether it's clothing, or a suit, or a sweater, or shoes, and sometimes just plan a night out. So again, I challenge some of the men and the couples out there.
Mhm.
Once a month, you can get back into that mindset where you set up a date with your wife, and the next month maybe the wife set up the date with the husband. So you don't know where
Mhm.
you're going, but it's just a time that you set up. So what are you trying to do? You're trying to kill that attitude or that spirit that will come in and say, you know what, you don't need to be romantic anymore. Like, you're 50 years old, you're 60 years old. The
Mm.
spice should still be there. The love should still be flowing, and she still want to feel special. She still wants to
Mhm.
know that she is still number one. I know she's got 20 pounds more than you did when you married her, sometimes 30 pounds, but she still wants to know that, and I've told my wife, if I had to do it all over again, I would still choose you. No matter
Wow.
what I have been through, what we have been through, I would still. And that's women wants to hear that.
Yes.
You're not
Yes.
asking her, but would you choose me again? If you had to do it all over again, would you really choose me again? Absolutely. I tell her,
As you mentioned that, Brother Bunny, if I can jump in
right.
here, I remember
Right.
as a teenager, There was this couple in Jamaica that used to sing a lot of songs together, Christian couple. I won't call any names, but I went to, I believe it was was it a wedding seminar? It was somewhere where they were both talking. And I remember the guy said something that, even though I was a teenager, I thought to myself, if I was his wife, we would have a big problem right now. He said open in front of everybody. I think they asked him a question about his wife or why he chose her. And he said he could have chosen anybody. He could have chosen anybody and be happy. So it's as though there was nothing special.
Nothing special.
Is that right? Wow.
And he could have just chosen anybody and been happy. I thought to myself, what a foolish man.
Oh my goodness.
What a horrible thing to say.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so I think that's a big woman's skill. Words, certain words, harsh words. I think
words.
Mom said earlier criticism, but not just criticism, but foolish talk like that. Talk that makes you, that is telling your spouse that there's nothing special about them, you know? Yeah.
Another romance killer is not being able to say you're sorry when you're sorry. Nothing is more attractive than a man telling his wife, honey, I'm sorry, please forgive me.
And say it, you know, and say
it just, to me, that is, it's almost romantic to do that, because it says to me, you value me, you didn't intend, your intention was good towards me, but you have erred. And if I had to do it, I wouldn't do it that way. So to me, a man being able to apologize and to say, I'm sorry, is romantic. That's romantic
very
language.
Sexy.
No,
very sexy.
Yeah.
That you're very. I like what you said. Not just say, I'm sorry, but I want to know, what are you sorry for?
Yeah.
I want to know tomorrow, next week, what's going to be different, right? So, and that's going and talking about like the apology language. Everybody have an apology language of how they would like to be apologized, of how they would want to hear. So after you apologize and say you're sorry, what change will you be making moving forward so that we won't be back at the same situation again? And you know what? It might be a habit that needs to be activated on a daily basis. And you mightn't get it perfect overnight, but you know what? I believe everything we do, we should also administer grace to the other individual, because we could have been on that side of the fence also. So the small things that we do to keep the romance alive, and I'm here to, just to give a shout out to the couples out there. There's some things that you did when you first was wooing that partner that you were interested in. She was beautiful. My Lord, you know what? Think about it. You actually found time to see her in your busy schedule. But now 20 years after, you're saying you're too busy. Like, how does that work? Let me repeat that again. When you were trying to woo her, when you're just you're being romantic, you had busy schedule, but you found time in your busy schedule to find time to go meet her, have dinner with her, maybe give her a kiss or whatever the case might be, give her a hug. You probably drive all the way around from the other end of town to go see her. And she felt so special. And now you won't even drive a block to go get milk at the Walmart store for her. Like, come on. Like, how does that work? What has changed? So I'm just here to remind someone, what you had started to do to make her feel special in that beginning stage, she needs to feel that again. You want to be intimate with her. You want to hold her and snuggle with her and everything else. But she's not releasing everything to you. She's not giving you everything that you'd want. You have a body, but you don't have the full person, because you're not making them feel how they need to feel as a woman. And it could be vice versa. You're not making him feel like he needs to feel as a man. A woman, as we've stated before, they want to feel valued. They want to feel nourished. They want to feel cherished. They want to feel like besides you, honey, there is no other.
You're my sun and my moon.
Mm. Yeah, and one thing I love about, you know, when you think about God being a romantic God, can somebody, how about we talk a little bit about that? Where do you see God as being introducing romance to his creation or being romantic to his creation? What comes to your mind?
Um,
Flowers,
giving.
flowers, and the ocean.
Okay,
I see giving.
given.
For God so loved the world that he
Yeah,
gave.
he
Yes, yes.
gave.
Sacrificial giving your time, giving money,
Mm,
giving your time and value. And diamond, they say, is a woman's best friend. But I
right.
mean, many of our husbands will not have diamonds, but how close can you come to diamonds? So
Mm,
giving is to me is God. And I
right.
see God being romantic in that he gives. He embraces us with his love. He covers
Mm,
us.
right.
Mhm.
So I
Right.
see the virtues of God, the
Mm,
empathy, meeting
mm.
you halfway.
No, beautiful.
Those are how I see romance, God romanticizing or romancing his people. He keeps bringing us back when we tend
Hmm.
to go astray.
Right.
You know, God is love. God is love. Let's
God
leave
is
it at
love.
God is love.
No,
And
no,
everything he does epitomizes love. And it
no,
said that a
beautiful.
man should love his woman as much as God loves the church.
Amen. No,
Forgiveness.
forgiveness. Right.
Don't hold my
Shows his love.
flaws over me. Don't hold the mistakes
Yes.
of yesterday over. God
Yes.
washes them away and casts them
Right.
into the sea of forgetfulness, somebody says.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is how I see God and romance.
No, beautiful. You
Patience
know,
as well. Patience. He's
right.
very patient with us, and by being patient with me, it's telling me that I'm worth waiting for. You know,
Wow.
Right.
you value me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
Mm.
Lord. You're preaching now,
Mm.
lady.
Mm.
You mentioned the ocean and things like that. So when
Mm.
you mentioned that, you're thinking about God. When I drive through the
Yes.
Rocky Mountains, I'm seeing
I
his I'm
always,
seeing his
yes,
beauty. I'm seeing his
yes,
beauty. And because I see his beauty, I'm thinking of him.
always.
And
Mhm,
that to me is so romantic. Some of the
mhm.
scripture that says here in Hosea 2:15, it says, um, I will give her vineyards from thence and the valley of Achor for a door of hope, and she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. Another verse tells us he has loved us with an everlasting love. He wants me to feel like I am loved. He wants me, the way that God feels about us is the way that we should feel about our spouse, because our marriage is a replica of Christ and the church. And the way
Amen.
that he makes me feel is the way that I also should make my wife feel that she
Wow.
is special, just like I'm
Mhm.
special in his eyes. If I'm supposed to be a replica of Christ in the church, I've got to make her feel also special in my eyes. And he who loves, he said, he who loves his wife in Ephesians 5 says, he who loves his wife loves himself, for no one yet hateth his own flesh, but nourish and cherishes as
I wish it
Christ
is.
does, as he does. So I was asking some men about when it comes to romance, how does men feel about romance? So I'll just break down a few here. They said, one said, a specific gift or something that I like. Don't give me nothing that I don't like.
Mm.
Give me something that I put a smile on my face. So give me something that I've been married to you long enough. We courted for X amount of time, and you know what I needed then. You know what I like then. You should still know what I like now. 5 years after, 10 years after, it feels like it's expected. So you see, it says here, from a man's perspective, it feels like it's expected for a man to always instigate the romance. It's always the man that's always doing the chasing, And it comes off as that, but the woman can also reciprocate that. It was the man is known as the hunter. Let's say the woman is the prey, for lack of better words, okay? But the man is the one that's there to attract the female. And they also said, from a man perspective, that love is not enough. I need more than love. What is he talking about? He says, I also want to be respected. That is romantic to me. When you respect me, that is romantic to me. And he said, any intentional effort that is done speaks romance. Keyword, any intentional effort speak romance to me. Something that you know I like, not necessarily what you like, but what I like. And basically, again, and this could go for both women and men also, but this again is from the man's perspective. Give me the feeling that you're still attracted to me. Just like you want me to give you the feeling that I'm attracted to you, I want to know when you walk into the room and I'm there, I want to know that you are still attracted to me. You know, when I'm in church sometime I might drive different vehicles because I have to do certain things before my wife. And when she's leaving after church, we'll meet up. This just happened really, but when we'll meet up, but we'll just hug, hey, you know, honey, I'll see you after. And I'll just give her a kiss right in church. So that's what you call PDA. So some individuals don't like public display, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with toned down public display. The major takes place outside the church doors in the confinements of your own home. But I believe your children need to see that affection. The children, the husband should see the son should see the father being romantic to his wife, and the daughter should also see that. You know, when I used to work out of town and my son used to pick me up, I used to stop in by Safeway there because they had some nice flowers at that time. And I said, hey, son, let's stop in here because I want to buy some flowers to my girlfriend. He just looks at me, your girlfriend? No, I'm talking about my wife. What am I teaching him, right? When you get married, it's a non-verbal communication, basically, that when you get married, these are some things that would put a smile on your wife's face. So they also said a lot of Christian men I'm hearing also out there. A lot of Christian men, okay, men, hear this. This is just what I'm hearing out there. A lot of Christian men are hearing from the wives that they're not very romantic. They're not very romantic.
Oh yeah.
And if anyone should show romance, is a person that's confessing to be a Christian because he is a replica of Christ and the church.
But the church has dumbed down romance.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, the church is very concerned about young people touching and hugging because it might lead to fornication. But at the same time, they're not holding up a picture of what romance looks like. And in my dealing with young people, I teach the young adults. Right. For years, maybe 15, 20 years, I've been dealing with that. And as a young person growing up too, apostolic men have no love, no lyrics. So in terms of using words that God uses, or in the book of Solomon, using words to woo women are moved by what they hear.
Yeah.
It was what the Satan said to Eve, and something moved her. Right. It was the communication. And our young men have not taught how to communicate love. They don't hear it in church. They hardly see it because we feel, as you said, Brother Bonitto, it is not okay to be openly affectionate to each other in public. Right. So where are they going to see this? Some of them are brought up in homes where there are no fathers, so they don't see that being given to their mothers. So we really need platforms like this, and God bless you, Minister, where young people can go and hear and see. We need visuals. Right. And I have no problem in being lovey and touchy and flirtatious with my spouse in public. So these days he's a little irritated by it because I'm not sure
They tell me, they tell me in church, go get a room.
But he was like that for most of his life, when the kids left, the last one left for college.
Okay.
I just saw him coming through the door, stark naked. And it's like it was just something so unusual, but he said, this is a God love Eden. That kind of freedom, the emptiness, that kind of freedom to again begin to woo and to win and to,
Okay.
So I think sometimes though, the church really dumbs down that.
Absolutely.
And when you talk about romance, you're talking about wine. Wine and the church say not to drink. A strong drink is so there are some things that really you come down and don't touch a woman unless so that people feel that growing up, if you touch a woman, she's going to get pregnant.
Right.
So I don't know where we're going to get back to, Brother Bonitto, to let young people, it's okay to be affectionate with words and gestures.
Absolutely.
And the church has to teach how to do it and how to help young people to set boundaries. But that absolutely nothing is wrong with touching and saying kind words.
Absolutely.
Kind words to each other.
Clean touch.
Clean touch, good touch.
And especially, I know there's some boundaries that the church has. I won't go out through all of them, but you know what? If you're courting someone, the intention is that this is going to be my future wife. I'm not playing when it comes.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of dating that goes on in church, but we're not talking about just dating. Some might say, well, what's the difference between dating and courting? Well, when you're courting, the intention is that I'm looking for a lifetime partner. I'm not just looking for fun right now. I want someone whose values can be aligned with my value and what I believe in, what she believes in. So we're coming down to a close here. So what the woman craved, and some say a woman want to be desired. We talked about that. They want you, men. They want you to know that they want you to spend time with them, no matter how busy it is. Even if you said, honey, you know what, I was supposed to do this, but you know what, I'm going to take these 10 minutes or 50, whatever it is. I'm going to just make this our time right now. They want to know, that you are thinking about them. Like Jody said here earlier, even send me a text and says, you know what, honey, last night was great. I really loved the way you held me. I really loved how we played together and so forth. We could go to part 2 or part 3 here, but we're going to stop here tonight. But before we come.
Well, funny.
Go ahead.
One other thing is very romantic as well. When your husband takes your car and gets the car nicely cleaned up for you, or serviced, or any little thing like that. Yeah, I think that's very romantic. Or jumps in the kitchen and says, honey, let me cook for you tonight. Yes, very romantic.
Beautiful. I tell my wife, don't touch that one.
Honey. To the massages yet and all of that, and the essential oils, but another time. But yeah, are also romantic when the husband takes a car and say, let me do the servicing, or let me get this cleaned up for you. Oh yeah, that's very romantic.
Amen. And there's times my wife has come from work. She's been standing all day, and she sits down, and I'm a man.
That's
I just massage the feet, honey. I could ask her for anything. I could ask her for anything after that, and it's
anything up to half of the kingdom,
and then some.
Oh yes.
My wife works from home, so I'm retired. So there's very rare she has to cook, because I want to make sure there's a meal there when she comes off of work.
Wow.
She was good. When I used to work out of town, she used to prepare my meals and everything else. Now that I'm not working and she's still got a few more years, it's very rare she has to come and cook, because that's my way of showing love to her. And that she shows appreciation in so many ways. So before we end, we thank these folks that are listening tonight. Hope you have enjoyed our little program. But Jody, I want you to end with the poem. And this is a poem that's just written by this young lady. God has inspired her. She's got a few more out there. Some of them I hear might be R-rated or X-rated, but we'll stick to the we'll stick to the general rated one here tonight. But this one is called Just Touch Me, and I think it speaks volume to those that are listening and those that want to be touched and want to be held. Sometimes because of where they are in the relationship, they're scared to really make that known, but you know, you can make a difference. Go ahead, Jody, and read that for us.
Okay. When you're leaving for work and you kiss me, I hear you are important to me. I love you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you when I get home. When you get home and you kiss me, I hear you are important. You are an important part of my life. Thank you for sticking with me. You are still the one. When you hold me in your arms, not just a touch and go, but a deep hug, I hear I love to have you close to me. I love the feel of your body against mine. I'm so happy that we're together, and I want to hold only you forever.
Wow.
When I lean on your shoulder and you hold me, even
Right.
if you are silent, I hear I'm here for you. You're safe with me. We will figure this out together. My fears and anxieties then begin to melt away, and I am strengthened. When you rub my aching feet, I hear, I care that you are in pain, and I want to make you feel better.
Okay.
When you hold my hands, I hear, I want to connect with you. When you hold my hand in public, I hear, this is my wife in whom I am well pleased. When you spot me on my bum, I hear, girl, you're fine. Let's play. When you caress my imperfect body, what I hear is, I'm still crazy about you. And I love and accept you just the way you are. You are enough. When life batters me, I run to you, and your open arms become my refuge. I hear I am with you, and we will overcome this together. Then I know it's going to be okay. You are my God-given safe place. When you make love to me, I hear I am expressing my love and passion for you. I want to connect with you in a deep and intimate way that no one else can. I want to share with you something special that I've reserved only for you. I want to have fun with you. I want to pleasure you. I need you. I'm attracted to you, and I want us to stay together. So when you leave for work and consistently do not kiss me, I hear you're not important to me. And it doesn't matter much if you're here when I come home. When you get home and do not embrace me, I hear I am not particularly happy to see you. When you refrain from holding me in your arms, I hear I do not want you near me, and I'm not sure if we should still be together. When I reach for your shoulder and it is not there, I hear I am not here for you. Go figure it out on your own. When you do not spot me on the bum, I hear I don't even see you, and I'm not amused by you anymore. When my feet ache and you do not rub them, I hear I do not care. When you do not hold my hand, what I hear is I do not want to connect with you. Give me my space. Leave me alone. When you do not caress my body, I hear I am not attracted to you anymore. I do not accept you the way you are. You do not quite cut it.
Mm.
When life batches me and I run to your arms for refuge and they're closed, I feel like I'm running for rescue and there's no way of escape. When I want to make love to you and you're not interested, I hear I have no love or passion for you. I do not want to connect with you in a deep and intimate way. I do not find any fun in you anymore. I do not wish to pleasure you. I do not care about your needs. And I'm no longer attracted to you. Don't really want to be with you.
Mm.
Then I feel like a brightly colored painting on a canvas in the hands of an angry artist was splashed paint of different dark, ugly colors all over me. I feel like we were on our way to a beautiful destination and got stuck in a storm. I hear the most beautiful music stop playing. The singer stops singing. The band stops playing. The dance is over in the middle of the song. I feel like the electricity went off in the middle of a great, well-anticipated movie. I feel the plane engines fail and the plane going down. I feel the very breath leaving my body slowly and painfully. I wonder, is it over? Can anyone hear me? Can anyone help? Do you still love me? Am I left alone in this marriage? Or is it all over? So if you care that I'm dying, if you want me to come alive, if you care enough to save us, just touch me. Touch me in ways that I can understand. Heal my brokenness with your touch. Secure me with your embrace. Feed me with your kisses. Knit me with your love. Hold me with your glue. Take me on a fun discovery ride. Let us explore and uncover mysteries for the sake of our love. Just touch me.
Oh,
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Such an inspiration.
wow.
You know,
Thank you.
that is so touching, Sister Jody. It really is touching, and I believe it speaks volume, especially the part about holding hands. We used to hold hands in the beginning for years, and all of a sudden now it's not a part of our walk anymore. The wife now has got to grab the husband's hands rather than the husband reaching out and grabbing the wife's hand. So just something to remember. So we thank you. We've got to end tonight a little bit over time here, but we thank you, Missionary Campbell, Jody Ann, Sister Jody Ann. These ladies are from Marriage Matters, and you can if anybody wants to get in contact with them to be on their program, it's every second Thursday. You can get a hold of us here at HGG, and we will forward the information over to you with the Zoom link and everything. So I am Bonitto Grange, your relationship and life coach. It's been a pleasure to be here with you ladies and with those that are watching here. And also giving a shout out, if you enjoyed the link, our program here, just click on the link below and subscribe. And for those that are out there that are having challenges in your relationship and just trying to figure things out and having communication challenge and so many other challenges that a person might feel, you're snuggling, but you're not cuddling no more. You're roommates, but you're not in love no more. Well, I'm here to help and to be of service. You can always get a hold of me, TLC, BonittoGrange.com. And that will give you my website. So thank you once again. God bless and have a wonderful evening. My pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Elder Bonitto, for being here.
Amen. My pleasure.